Hello everyone and welcome to the season opener game of the Portland Waterfall League. I'm your host Joe Adams, accompanied by John Smith.
Thanks, Joe. Today marks the first game of the PWL. We just had a fantastic draft by the team's owners, and it looks like the players are ready to prove that they were worth the high selections, or in this case, the lower selections, to prove themselves as contributors to the team effort.
Enough introduction, let's begin by showcasing the players for this historic game. Representing the Bethany Herons is Ben Clement, taken at the top of the third round of the draft, 13th overall. For the Hillsborough Highlanders, Chris Dyer. For the Rose City Wreckers, Nicholas Pickle Holford. Representing the Cedar Mill Shockwave is Jack Fairhurst, and for the Beaverton Ballers, Jimmy Winkle. Finally, representing the Aloha Gladiators is Riley Graham, taken at the bottom of the third round, 18th overall.
That's right, Joe. In fact, all of the players in this game were third round selections. Being in the middle of the draft, without further ado, first game's on.
Alright, looks like we have a pretty slow start here to this game. Nicholas just hit a normal hit and Ben is up to receive.
Most of our players for this game are in team colors, except for the player in the black hoodie, who is a Hillsborough Highlander. He should have green on, excuse that.
And it looks like we have our first elimination of the entire season right here from Jack Fairhurst. He's just receiving from Riley Graham, tries to hit it across the table, and it just clears right over there. That's the first elimination of the season, and Jack has just scored a whopping 0 points for the Cedar Mill Shockwave. Now, what do you think about that elimination? You think maybe you should have played that a little differently?
Yeah, I think so. I think he should have not hit it over the table and actually hit it onto the table, into the field of play, for the next player from the Hillsborough Highlanders to hit it.
I think that is a very smart observation you just made there, John. Anyway, we got the second round of the first match starting here, and things are already starting to heat up compared to last match. Jimmy Winkle the hit, Nicholas Holford.
Powerful hit right there. Good comeback right there.
Let's see what Jimmy can do with this one. Just a basic hit. Nothing too aggressive here. Most of these players are just trying to play a little conservatively and just hope that another player makes a mistake before they did.
We do have, is that 4 rookies in this?
I believe so. I know Jimmy Winkle's a very experienced player, and Nicholas Holford for the Rose City Wreckers has done his fair share of work as well. But I think the other 3 in this game, and just right there you can see a rookie mistake from Riley Graham there.
So it looks like we got 3 veterans and 3 rookies for this first game matchup.
That's right. It looks like we're down to our final 4 for match 1, which is Ben Clement for the Herons, Chris Dyer for the Highlanders, Nicholas Holford for the Wreckers, and Jimmy Winkle for the Beaverton Ballers.
Our announcer Douglas is telling the order of play right now. Players are swapping. That's Nicholas Holford and Jimmy Winkle. Nicholas Holford with a mistake right there, with too little power, and it looks like he hit the tip of his paddle. Very common mistake being made.
Yeah, that you can't be doing that for your team right there. That's just, I think maybe a little bit of a lack of effort there. I think that hit is something that's pretty receivable, but he wasn't able to get it back onto the table.
I'm going to agree with the lack of effort right there. That he just didn't look athletic right there. He just doesn't look into it. Doesn't look like he's carrying.
And Ben Clement almost gets caught sleeping there, but luckily enough for him, Jimmy Winkle hit pretty softly, so Clement was able to get over and hit it back just in time.
In these 3-man games, it can be very hectic because you're always running around. It's your turn to hit right when you're just the other side and you're running to the next side already.
And right there we have the elimination for the second to last round of the first match. Jimmy Winkle maybe just didn't get around enough. Didn't have enough time to collect himself and just hit it right over the table, which means that the finals for match 1 will be between Ben Clement of the Herons and Chris Dyer of the Highlanders.
Ben Clement here to serve.
We're starting things off a little slowly here, and it's already over. Ben Clement just hits it clear over the table, and that is Chris Dyer taking home the victory of match 1 for the Hillsborough Highlanders.
Wow, that's just too much power. He just sent that right over. That's an easy hit right there to return.
There's our second replay.
He could have
right there. Just
realistically, he could have spiked that if he wanted to. That was a pretty high ball.
That's right.
And now a word from our sponsor, the Raven Bar.
John, the Raven Bar is not only the best drinks around, but the best atmosphere as well.
I can't help myself but agree, Joe. Nothing beats cracking open a cold one with the boys at the Raven Bar. An ale for kings.
That's what they say. Now we're going to be starting up the second match here. For the first game, it's probably important to clarify that in a game for the PWL, there will be 6 matches total, so each player starts at a position on the table at least once.
And everyone starts as a server once, right, too?
That's right. Everyone starts as the server once, everyone starts as the receiver from the server once, and then everyone starts as the third once, and so forth, all the way to the 6th place.
Now, in my opinion, on the hierarchy right there, I think the third is actually the hardest position to start at. Would you agree?
I would agree. The person who receives from the serve has immunity from being out, at least for their first 2 strikes. It's a 3-strike system, which means that it's often the hardest to be receiving from the person who receives from the serve, because they can often have an advantageous position in how they're going to hit it back to them.
That's right. They can go more aggressive until they have to settle down.
That's right. And we missed, that's Jimmy Winkle getting out first there. The Beaverton Ballers, Jimmy came third in the last match, so he already racked up a decent amount of points, but that 6th place certainly not helping his team out. He's probably going to be looking to do a little bit better than that for his next match back in.
Looks like we got a solid match going so far. That's Jack Fairhurst who just hit that ball, so everyone's hit the ball in this game, or this match.
We've already gone around the table once. That was a really good backhand there from Ben Clement. But besides that, everyone else is just doing some pretty basic hits. That seems to be the story of the matches so far. Is just kind of more conservative hits, trying to weigh out other people to make mistakes.
That is true. These are more less experienced guys right here.
That's right. And it might have been a little difficult to see because we hit it back on the table after there, but that was Nicholas Halford getting out. He just did a pretty classic mistake there of just putting a little too much power on that hit, and it goes clear over the table. So that is a 5th place finish. That's 1 point more for the Rose City Wreckers. Definitely not ideal, but at least he scores something.
Yeah, hitting the ball over, that's actually pretty easy to do. Easier than you'd think. You barely tap that thing, can go flying.
That's right. Especially when you go to the gym as much as John here has.
Absolutely.
So we're going to be starting our 4-man match. We like to call this match doubles because most of the time you're staying on the same side of the table with the person that you started with. So it kind of looks like a doubles match. Of course, everyone here are on different teams, but it still remains to be said.
Yeah, while you're saying that, they were trying to actually rotate across the table, it looked like, but they were unable to.
The games get mostly interesting right there after those type of hits, where then you have to start playing on the shorter side of the table. That's when the games get really interesting because mistakes are a lot more. Just right there, mistakes happen. It just you're not as used to hitting to the shorter side of the table. And Riley Graham of the Aloha Gladiators gets out. That's 2 points for the Gladiators, and he's going to be looking to at least get top 3 for his next match.
All right, let's start with this 3-man game. Most hectic they come.
That's right. The most movement in any given match is the match that there are 3 people remaining. In the 5-man matches and the 4-man matches, you have some time to move around. Oh, real quick, right here, we just got our first example of the serve penalty. So the server or the serve receiver, if they do not hit it back on the table, and that counts as a strike 1 on a 3-strike system. That's to encourage kind of easier hits to get the game going. And so right there, that's why we just did a redo.
Of course, that works both ways because if the server just hammers that ball, it's impossible. It's really hard to hit back, and that will be a strike for him.
That's right. But wow, what a hit right there from Chris Dyer. That seemed like kind of a desperation move to try and get it back on the table, and it just hit just right to go backwards. And, Jack Fairhurst jumped over the ball, and that was just right here on this replay. Yep, right there. That's a kill. for Chris Dyer. And it looks like the final two for match 2 will be Chris Dyer for the Hillsborough Highlanders, his second in a row, and Jack Fairhurst for the Cedar Mill Shockwave.
Now, Joe, what would have happened if that ball hit the side of the table instead of the top?
So the rules concerning when the ball is playable is the ball must touch the top of the table. And right there we already have our victory. But as I was saying, if the ball hits the side of the table, then it doesn't count. That's an out for the person who hit the ball. But if it hits the top, then you're all good. But as I said before, that's Jack Fairhurst coming away with the win for match 1. That is 5 points for the Cedar Mill Shockwave.
Big points right there. Best you can get.
Now that we're at the end of match 2, let's take a look at the scoreboard 2 matches in. It looks like Chris Dyer for the Hillsborough Highlanders takes an early lead, scoring 9 of a possible 10 points across the first 2 matches. A great haul for the Highlanders.
Not too far behind is Bethany Heron's Ben Clement, who has been top 3 in the first 2 matches, as well scoring 7 points for the Herons in this early third of the game.
That's right, John. But we best not forget the turnaround from Cedar Mill Shockwave's Jack Fairhurst. Being the first elimination in league history must be difficult, but he bounced back and won the second match, bringing home 5 points for the Shockwave.
And that leaves the remaining 3, Halford, Winkle, and Graham, who have struggled to keep up with the last 3, tied in last with 3 points apiece.
It looks like those lower ranks are still anybody's game, but I gotta say, it looks like Chris Dyer, with the amount of points he scored, just 1 point short of the maximum possible over the first 2 matches. It looks like he's got a pretty sizable lead that's going to be kind of difficult to overcome.
Let's see what Jack Fairhurst can do going from worst to first.
That's right. Start of match 3, we already got something interesting, and Ben Clement is already out. The moment it turned to the side of the table, Chris Dyer took advantage of that. Ben tried to get there in time, but it was just a little too fast for him, and he hit it right over.
I believe that's his 3rd time going out, is that because of hitting too hard.
That's right. And it seems to be a problem that he really needs to work on, especially not just for the rest of this game, but also going into the next few matches.
Well, it looks like we have our first spike right there we've seen so far.
But Jimmy received that really well.
Now, what is our field of play here? Is there a limit to hitting the ball out of bounds before it hits the ground, or
before I answer that, I just want to acknowledge that we got another elimination here. Jimmy Winkle hits it over the table. Nicholas Halford to serve and just hits it right over. He was trying to move around to get to it, and looks like he wasn't able to get there just in time to make a good shot. But as you were saying, the rules for hitting the ball, it can hit the walls. It could even hit the ceiling, although I don't think it'll ever hit the ceiling. But as long as the ball hasn't touched the ground twice, it's playable. No matter how far it goes or whatever it touches, as long as it doesn't touch the ground a second time, then it's playable. And it looks like Jimmy Winkle, the Beaverton Ballers, just got out there. Let's look at the replay here. Yep, he just hit that a little too low. The ball wasn't where he wanted it to be, and looks like we have another final 3 here. Riley Graham for the Gladiators. Jack Fairhurst is back in the final 3 for the Shockwave. And wouldn't you believe it, Chris Dyer for his 3rd game in a row in the top 3.
I believe that was the same way Nicholas Halford got out, was at the 2nd or 1st round right there, where it just hit the tip of the paddle and kind of flopped.
Yeah. The positioning of the ball in regards to where you're trying to hit it is especially important. It's one of the big strategies of the game. And Riley Graham is right there. That's his best placement of the match, of the game so far, 3rd place. That's a good 3 points for the Gladiators right there.
That looks like a weird hit, in my opinion. He was kind of looked like he was trying to hit it straight, and then it kind of just went sideways.
Yeah, it's lost on me what he was trying to do there, but it's all right. He got good points for his team, and we're having now a rematch here between Jack Fairhurst of the Cedar Mill Shockwave and Chris Dyer of the Hillsborough Highlanders. Looks like Jack is trying to get a little low, get some fast hits in there. Oh, all right, we've moved to the short side of the table. Oh, wow, that's a great shot from Jack. And he's in prime position to spike it, and oh my, he missed the shot.
He missed that table right there?
He just missed it. I cannot believe that he just missed that shot. Let's take a look at that again. So first, a great hit from Jack right there. Gives him excellent positioning from the receive, and he just misses the table.
Just sails it over.
You'll see that from another angle.
Great recovery right there. And then just sails it over.
And there we go. It might be through a little bit more of luck than anything, but Chris Dyer has brought home his second match victory, match 3. That certainly was a thrilling match, John. Cedar Mills' Jack Ferris was in prime position to win 2 matches straight, but fumbled the bag at the last second. A hard-hitting misstep, to be sure.
You know, Joe, a bag will never fumble is one that contains freshly made burgers from Blue Jay Burgers. A sponsor of today's game, Blue Jay is the perfect dine-in experience, a savory satisfaction, and can be found anywhere within its walls.
That's right. Blue Jay Burgers, they're the best. I mean, let's just get that out of the way. Looks like we're going to start match 4 here. A new beginning for everyone. We've officially gotten halfway through the game. All right, and we got serve 1. So we got serve 1 right there. Nicholas going to do another retry, and all right, the ball is live. Let's see what happens next. Everyone's just doing some pretty conservative hits right here.
First fast hit of the game, still good recovery, and then just back to normal game. High ball right
Could
there.
be a spike. He just decides to play it a little conservatively. Riley Graham is starting to take matters in his own hand a little bit, and wow, that is Jack's second first round exit of the game.
Man, I really just don't expect this from one of the veterans in this round right here.
That's right. Everyone expected coming out of the draft that Jack Ferris would be one of the biggest steals, but it looks like he's been pretty hit or miss thus far. I mean, he has come first and second so far, but he does also have 2 sixth places. So, you know, it's really off and on, not very consistent, but I guess at this point, he's probably hoping that the points he's accrued already will be able to carry him through the game.
Wow, hard hit right there. Good recovery with another hard hit.
This is all right.
High ball.
Everyone's moving around and doing some good hits here. Great recovery from Nicholas Halford. Can Jimmy hit it? And he is out. I think that elimination goes to Ben Clement. Let's look at the replay for that one. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, just Jimmy not getting across the board in time. He was on the same side as Ben Clement when he hit it.
Same side.
You can't do that.
That's really dangerous, and well, it resulted in elimination. But I have to admit that was a really good effort from him. He got to the ball, just not enough time to be able to get him into it.
We got a sail right there, and didn't even come close to that table.
Wow, Clement is just absolutely ripping on people right now. He's just really taking advantage of being the serve receiver.
Let's see that right there. You see that? Not even close to the table. That guy was what, top 3 every game before this?
Yeah, you're right. That is Chris Dyer's first time not being either first or second. And Riley Graham just did what we like to call the Fergie special right there. He just forgot that it was his turn to hit it, and Ben Clement utilized his well, I'm thinking it's becoming a classic move of his, just sending it right across the table really quickly. And he became a victim of that really fast.
He didn't even line up on the right side.
That's right. He was on the wrong side of the table.
That might be a referee problem right there. I mean, it is his fault, but also if the referee didn't say anything before the match started, we got to address that right there.
That is true. Oh, all right. What happened there? Let's take a look at the instant replay. See what happened on that play.
Our second camera angle right here, and it just looks like just missed the ball.
And he just missed the ball. Well, that is a victory for Ben Clement right there, taking home 5 points that match for the Bethany Herons. That's really awesome.
We've now reached the 2/3 mark of the game. Let's check in with the stats to see who's on top.
Chris Dyer for the Hillsborough Highlanders has extended his lead to 16 points. Aside from that last match where he placed 4th, he's come top 3 every time. The question is, can he sustain that momentum to propel his team to victory?
We'll know soon for sure, but in the meantime, what about Ben Clement, who has also retained 2nd place, scoring 12 points for the Herons? It seemed he might have been down for the count after the first round exit in match 3, but came right back and won match 4, adding to his totals.
I think Clement is certainly a growing fan favorite for his exciting power hits. But speaking of excitement, Riley Graham of the Aloha Gladiators is moving up in the leaderboard, placing 3rd in the last 2 matches. He's now tied with Shockwave player Jack Fairhurst, who hasn't scored too much thanks to an early exit in the last match.
It's true. It seems like Jack Fairhurst is a wild card in terms of where he's going to place. But I bet he's aiming to stay on top of Jimmy Winkle and Nicholas Halford, who are both still tied in last place, but only trailing by 1 point. It's still anyone's game, Joe.
That's right. The points are still close enough that really anyone could take this over the next and final 2 matches of Game 1.
Looks like we are on to Game 1 of our match right now.
And did I just see that right? Did Ben Clement just get out first? Let's take a replay of that. Wow, just a standard routine hit, and it just went to the right of the table, and he's already
That's
out.
a weird angle, I feel like. He kind of swung from the right of his body to the left, and it looks like maybe he hooked it or something.
Yeah. He might have been, maybe he was trying to put a little bit of spin on that, maybe do something a little fancy schmancy, but it just seemed to really backfire right there, and that's 0 points right there for a player who was, up until that, growing pretty quickly at a rate.
Yeah, he was just second place just last game. Let's see how his 0-point game will affect his standings.
We'll have to see that at the end of the game, for sure. Looks like we have a little confusion on the serve. We're talking to the ref. Alright, looks like whatever they were talking about, it's all settled now, and let's begin round 2 of match 5. And that right there, just a little too powerful of a hit there from Rose City, and that is a 5th place for Nicholas Halford, his 3rd of the 5 matches that he's been in so far. Definitely not a good showing for the Wreckers in their first game. But we do have to give him credit for coming 2nd last match, and for coming, I suppose coming 4th in his first match is better than 5th.
That is true. That is true right there.
Which means we're down to our final 4. Riley Graham of the Aloha Gladiators, Chris Dyer, again, of the Hillsborough Highlanders, Jack Fairhurst of the Cedar Mill Shockwave, and the king of this match, Jimmy Winkle of the Beaverton Ballers.
Match is on. Looks like we're rotating on 4-man for some reason. I don't know what that confusion was.
It looks like they were just... It looks to me as if they were just lined up on the wrong side, and they realized just in time not to commit one of the famous Fergie specials.
I guess that's what it was. A little bit of a power hit. Return with another power hit.
Really decent tennis-looking play here. Okay, looks like we're starting
to the side.
Now things are going to get interesting. Okay, now we just reset back to the full length of the table, but Riley Graham is still trying to get some power hits in, try to get some people out.
Yeah, I've noticed that's very iconic of him. He'll try to hit it side and get some power on it.
Yeah, you can see that he's really bending his knees, trying to get low in order to have that height advantage. Oh, a good hit from Jack, and Jimmy's able to recover.
Wow,
that's a great hit.
Some great plays just in that last few seconds,
and Jimmy Winkle just did what Nicholas did in one of those matches and just missed the ball, and well, he's out now. That's 2 points for Jimmy Winkle, which leads us to our final 3. The teams still left in the game are the Gladiators, the Shockwave, and the Highlanders. And let me tell you, John, I'm very excited to see who's going to be winning this match.
As am I. It could be anyone's game right here. We have Riley Graham, who is the only one here that has not won a game, correct?
That's true. Chris Dyer has already won 2 games in match 1 and match 3, and Jack Fairhurst won a game in match 2.
Now, while that was getting said right there, Riley Graham almost pulled a Fergie special, but he was able to get back in time.
All right. We're glad that he was able to do that, keep him in the game, make it last a little longer, make it a little more exciting.
Looks like we've got some good movement right now.
That's right.
Good corner hit, good recovery. We're just moving across the table right now.
Seems to me that right now these are the clear-cut top 3 players of this game, I think. Really good corner hits. Everyone's moving around.
Good recovery by Jack.
As we were saying before, the highest Riley Graham has gone so far is 3rd place, which he got in both matches 3 and 4.
So he's looking for a better than that.
And that was a great
strong hit by Jack.
Great hit from Jack Fairhurst there, getting out Chris Dyer, who's currently the leader in the standings.
And just like we said.
That's right.
Riley Graham, top 2 right now, better than he's already been, going for a win. Chris Dyer going for his third win, excuse me.
So it looks like if Riley Graham wins this match, it'll be his first match victory of the game. And if Jack wins, this will be his 2nd. So both of them are trying to bring back the 5-pointer for their team. Looks like a serve.
Bad serve on
Looks like it was called
Riley
on Jack
Graham.
Fairhurst, though.
It was called on. Oh man, I'm gonna have to disagree with the ref right there.
A second serve. That one was called on Riley Graham. All right, the ball is live. It's time to see who's going to win this matchup. A great hit from Jack.
Good
but
recovery.
Recovered from Riley.
Jack got real low on that hit. I feel like unnecessarily low. I'm not sure why he did that, but it worked out because it got on the table.
If it works but it looks stupid, it's not stupid.
That's true.
All right, looks like we got a slow hit here. Riley just decides to reset the table.
Looks like we're rotate. Oh no, we're about to. Oh, did Jack just sail that over?
Yeah, Jack just sailed that right over the table. Let's take a look at our replay cam, maybe. Oh no, no replay on this one. It would have been nice to have another angle, but that's just how it is. All right, John, it's time for our last sponsor of the day, Nichols Pickles.
It's an exotic restaurant. That's to be true, but that's not to say that it's not equally as delicious.
That's right, John. In fact, I find myself chomping on some of Nichols Pickles practically daily at this point.
They're the best I've ever had.
I'm saying you cannot find any better pickles than a Nichols Pickles. They got the best stuff now.
And just last match, Riley Graham got his first win of the game.
That's right. We forgot to mention that Riley Graham just won his first match, and dude, I think we just had a serve there. Oh no, Jimmy Winkle got out. That's that is bad news for the Beaverton Ballers. Jimmy Winkle, his best placement of the game was in third place, and that was in match 1. And he didn't do any better ever since, and I think we can expect him maybe not to score too many points this game, but looks like a serve right there. We're going to see another redo. Can Nick receive? No, he can't. Ben Clement has eliminated another player with a really good serve. It seems like receiving the serve is something that he really excels at with his power hits.
That is true. I've seen that. And just again, right there, like you said, Jack wasn't able to recover.
That's another player out for Ben Clement. Another elimination. Jack is out. He just got 4th place for Cedar Mill, which leads us to our final 3 in the final match.
This final round is going by super fast with these power hits. Let's see if he gets another one. Does he get... No. Great recovery.
Great recovery. And Riley Graham just Fergie special.
Oh, is that what happened?
That's
right. That what happened?
Yeah, Riley was king. He was supposed to go, and he thought he was receiving from Ben for some reason.
Man, that's a rookie mistake by a rookie.
That's a hard way to get out, but at least he came 3rd. That's a decent amount of points for the team.
That is true.
And now this is the last match. We're sure to get a really exciting matchup, and it's over. Ben Clement has taken down Chris Dyer to win his 2nd match of the game. Let's get a little replay.
And was Chris Dyer going for his 3rd match? That would have been pretty crazy.
Yeah, Chris Dyer was going for his 3rd win. That would have been great points. But, 2nd place ain't too bad either.
That's true.
And with that, the game is over. Ben Clement claims the final match for the Bethany Herons. Let's take a look at the end-of-game stats and see who came out on top in the PWL season opener.
Remaining in first place the entire game and dominating the competition, Chris Dyer scored 23 of a possible 30 points across 6 matches, including 2 victories and 5 top 3 appearances. He led the game in knockouts with 10 and a regicide to boot. Chris Dyer has won match 1 for the Hillsborough Highlanders.
But let's not forget to shine some of the spotlight on Ben Clement, who tied for 2nd with 17 points. Clement seemed to have a slow start, but really picked up the pace in the latter matches, with the majority of his 9 knockouts coming in after match 3. It seemed to be on and off with Clement as he had 2 match victories, but also 2 first-round exits. When all is said and done, Clement brought home a respectable score for the Bethany Herons.
Tied with Clement for 2nd place was Aloha Gladiators' Riley Graham, who made a steady rise throughout the game. After match 2, he never placed outside the top 3 again, and compared to Clement and Dyer, he has less impressive stat sheet, boasting just 4 knockouts and 1 regicide, but brought back 17 points home for the Gladiators.
In 4th is Jack Fairhurst for the Cedar Mill Shockwave, whose second-half performance left some to be desired. He came 2nd in match 5, but that wasn't enough to make up for last in match 4 and 4th in match 6. He brings back 15 points for the Shockwave and probably a driven attitude to do more next week.
Finally, Nicholas Halford and Jimmy Winkle rode 5th and 6th virtually the entire game. But Halford eventually edged Winkle out 10 points to 8, securing 5th place despite having a slightly worse statistical showdown. Both players will likely have a chip on their shoulder heading into next week to score more points for their team.
It looks like that's going to do it from the booth. Thanks for watching. Check the link in the description to see the player statistics and team standings in the league, and make sure to subscribe to the PWL channel to be updated as the games are played. We'll see you next time on the PWL.